Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're looking at creating a range of triangles accurately in Photoshop. But before we begin, I have more Photoshop training for you at Skillshare.com. When you sign up for Skillshare, you get access to thousands of classes there, including over 200 of mine. In the description below, I've got a Skillshare coupon for you, which is at least as good as the current Skillshare offer, and typically mine will be better. Please feel free to share this coupon with family and friends. And now back to the video. So I'm back here in Photoshop. Let's have a look at a number of ways to create a good triangle in Photoshop. And the one that's most typically touted, which I like the least, is to use the Polygon tool. So I'm just going to select here on the Polygon tool. Now you can create this as a shape, a path, or pixels. Most of the time shape or pixels will be what you want. I'm going to choose shape. It's got no fill and it has a stroke. And over here you can see I've set the sides to 3. And so I can just click and drag to draw my triangle. I'm going to hold the spacebar to move it into the document. The problem with this triangle is it's really difficult to get it to be perfectly flush horizontally or vertically. It's just a little bit tricky. You can also create the triangle by just clicking in the document, and then you get to set the width and height of the triangles and the number of sides. So of course it's going to have 3 sides, but we'll set the width to say 200 and the height to 100. Just click OK and that's the triangle we'll get. In this case you're going to find that it has a better vertical line, but of course if you want it to be horizontal then that's a little bit tricky. Let's go and delete these, because another way of creating a triangle is to use the rectangle tool. I'll drag out a rectangle. I'm going to use the spacebar to just move it into the document. And I'm going to create a right angle triangle, which means that this corner is going to be a right angle. All I need to do is to remove this corner to do that. So I'll go to the pen tool and I need to select the delete anchor point tool. It's critical that you use that tool. Now you'll come in and just click on the corner point. You're going to turn the live shape into a regular path, so just click continue. And now we have a nice and very regular right angled triangle. Of course you can do that by just selecting the rectangle tool and click once in the document, where you can now specify the width and height of your rectangle. So in this case it's going to be a square. Go back to our delete anchor point tool, click on the anchor point, and now we've got a small but very regular triangle. So the vertical and horizontal sides are equal. So this is an isosceles triangle. It's got 2 sides that are equal. In this case it's also got a right angle. Now, of course, in some cases, it may not matter to you exactly what your triangle looks like. You just want a 3-sided figure. Well, the easiest way is probably to use the pen tool. Click once to start your triangle, click again, and click back over the starting point. And you can create any 3-sided shape that you like. Of course, if you want it to be filled pixels, then choose pixels before you start. If you just want a path, then choose path. Let's go and select and get rid of this one and create one that has a perfectly horizontal base. Again, using the pen tool, click once. This time hold the shift key so that you're constrained to drawing in a perfectly horizontal direction. Click again, and then you can click to create the other sides of your triangle. Obviously make sure that you're not holding the shift key down as you draw those extra edges, because you would be constrained to creating a perfectly horizontal or a perfectly vertical line. So let's create a triangle that now has this line perfectly vertical. Click once, hold the shift key to click again so that we get this perfectly vertical line. Let go of the shift key and then complete the triangle. Click again over the starting point to close it up. Let's have a look next at creating a special sort of triangle where the sides are equal in length, but it doesn't have a right angle in the middle. So this is a little bit different. For this, we're going to create 2 rectangles and then join them together. So let's say that we want the final base of our triangle to be 400 wide, and we want its height to be 500. Well, we're going to create 2 rectangles, but the rectangles are going to be the height that we want, which is 500, but only half of the base. If the base is ultimately to be 400, then it has to start at 200. Let's click on the rectangle tool. Let's click to create a rectangle so we can type the measurements in that we want. Half of the base is going to be 200. The full height is going to be 500. We'll create 1 rectangle. So this is the perfect size. We need a copy of it. Edit, copy, edit, paste. And we're going to line these two up side by side. If you're unsure as to whether they're nice and even, select over both of them and use the align tools here. I'm going to align top edges, but let's first of all make sure that we're aligning to the selection, which we are. So now let's go and do the exact thing as we have been doing and get rid of this anchor point here. So we'll go to the delete anchor point tool, select and delete this anchor point. And we're going to do the same on this side over here. So we'll need to select that shape. Make sure that we have the delete anchor point tool selected, select that anchor point and delete it. So now we've got the basic shape that we want, but it's in two pieces. So we've got a rectangle here and a rectangle here. They're actually triangles, but since they started out as rectangles, that's what they're being called. Now I'm working with shapes, as you can see here in the shape layer. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose merge shapes. And what that does is to join the two shapes together. But we still have a problem in that we've got a bit down the middle. Well, we can get rid of that. Let's go to the paths palette. You can see that we've got our two shapes joined together in one path. So now what we'll do is go to the shape tool. We just need to click on it. Now the reason why we're selecting the shape tool is that we need these tools up here. These tools appear when you've got the shape tool selected, when you've got the path tool selected, but for example they're not visible when you've got the pen tool selected. So you need to get them somehow. And so what I'm doing is just clicking on this shape tool. Now I've got my path selected here. What we'll do is go to this option and we're going to choose combine shapes. And that's going to combine the shapes, but we need to bake it in. So we'll come back here and choose merge shape components. And when we do that, we end up with a single shape. And this is our isosceles triangle. It's got two sides that are exactly the same. And it's got an angle in the middle here, one that is not a right angle. So you need to do a little bit of fancy work to actually create this one, but it's eminently possible in Photoshop. It's just a combination of knowing how to work with shapes and knowing what you want for your triangle. I hope this video has helped you in understanding how to create a range of triangles in Photoshop. Please, if you did enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and that notification bell so that you'll be alerted when new videos are released. Until next time, my name's Helen Bradley. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel.